What is up, Rockets Talk gang? We are back after a crazy game six. As Roosh just put it before we got on there, probably the biggest win for the Rockets in hell, I don't even know, bro. I mean,
Half a
pushing
decade.
this Warriors team. You said a decade?
Half a decade.
Yeah, since probably the going seven, probably with the Warriors the other time. I would say the Chris Paul injury win, maybe.
I think it's the biggest win since they beat the Thunder in the bubble. Just
Eh,
because, I mean,
I don't know.
technically,
Yeah, I mean,
look,
yes, I guess literally, but that game, I mean, that series was nasty. We had no business even going that toe to toe with a young Thunder team with just CP and
yeah,
Schroeder and
yeah,
a young SJ. But regardless, bro, like this was, I'm not gonna lie, I did not think we were gonna win this game, like at all. I told me and my partner were talking. I told him I'm feeling 60-40 Warrior. No, I was like 70-30 Warriors winning this for sure. Young team on the road in a hostile environment against Hall of Famers that had damn near had the previous game off rested, and to come into Oracle or whatever the name of the new arena is and take their souls, bro. And it wasn't even just like it wasn't a oh, like we really went in there and snatched their chains. They looked
yeah,
defeated at the end of that game. They looked frustrated. Draymond looked powerless. Steph looked he looked frustrated. Jimmy Butler looked like, whatever, and the role players were just non-existent. And we played bad
yeah.
at
We
that.
didn't play good. We shot ourselves in the foot a lot, and we overcame it. There were numerous times in that game where it felt like, oh, okay, here comes the Warriors' run, and you know, like when we were up 46-35, and they came back and tied at 46-46 before the half was even over. And then we respond and take the lead. And then Jimmy Butler comes and hits that shot at the end, and it's just like, man, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Um, but they were huge Vegas underdogs. It was Warriors minus 235, Rockets plus
Crazy.
195. If you don't bet, that means you'd have to bet $235 to win 100 on the
Yeah.
Warriors, right? I mean, you know what? I said this to someone because we didn't get a chance to do the pod after Game Five, but after Game Five, everyone was upset about how the Rockets ended that game, right? And I had this feeling that I would rather the Rockets do some dumb shit and stub their toe at the end of that game so that Ime gives them a wake up call before it's too late and they got to wake up in the middle of game six, right? So like they're if they were going to get a sense of like false confidence from that blowout win, it got snatched from them in that fourth quarter when they almost blew it, right? And everyone was like, oh man, they're going to go back to Golden State and they're going to get killed. So no, I didn't think they were going to win that game. And I thought there were numerous times in that game where the Warriors were going to come right back. I mean, when Steph got that foul call at the end of the third quarter to get those 3 free throws, which is crazy, by the way. If they're going to call the games like that, they should have. James Harden should have shot a lot of free throws years ago.
Yeah.
But and then they ended the third quarter 86-84, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like, man, here come the Warriors. But Fred Van Vliet, he comes out with that 4-point play. Let me say this: Frederick Van Vliet has outplayed Steph Curry in games 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That is half of a series. Okay, that is not something to underrate or understate. He is playing. Look, he was rough in the regular season. I've been a staunch Fred Van Vliet supporter. And I feel vindicated because he showed he was worth every penny of that contract. He's been clutch. He's hit big shot after big shot. Like, yo, he's the Warrior killer we never had years ago, right? He's a player who is truly a thorn in that team's side. You can tell the Warriors and probably their fan base are like, God damn, we are so sick of Fred Van Vliet. So,
Yeah.
a lot to talk about, man. I mean, hell of a win. Ime deserves his flowers too.
He does. He I think the lineups, there was only one lineup I didn't like, which was the Amen, Tari, Dylan.
Laurie,
Was it Bari? I don't know. It was like the one I made a video breaking down their game is the one I said I hated. It was Steven Adams. It was a
do you
bunch of
remember what time?
non-shooters.
Do you remember what portion of the game they played?
I can't even. It was like the first half and the second quarter, I think. It's the lineup where Dylan Brooks had to. It was the offensive engine because Jaylen was tripping. Jaylen was out there. Dylan was out there. Amen was out there. Steven Adams was out there, and I think it was Shangun or somebody like that. No, it wasn't even Shangun. It was either probably Bari, but it was a bunch of non-creators, and then your theoretical creators were Jaylen and Amen, and they were kind of off and on their offense. I did want to point out, to me, the key turning point in the game was in the fourth quarter. Um, the Rockets went on a 12-1 run from 8:33 left in the fourth quarter, and that lasted till 3:53. So that's damn near 5 minutes of game time, 5.5 minutes or so. The Warriors scored zero field goals, bro. Only
Wow.
one. They made one free throw, one out of two, in from the 8 minute mark in the fourth quarter to the 3:53 mark. They only scored 1 point.
Well,
So
when it was 101 89, which I don't know what the time was on the clock, but at that point, the Rockets had gone on I think a 15-5 run.
yeah, that was through that. And to
Yeah.
me, Steven Adams and Şengün being able to survive Steph minutes, not only survive but thrive Steph minutes. Steven Adams on the inside interior being a presence, almost scaring the Warriors. Um, a lot of you seen Moody try to go and try to get a couple and get turned back. He blocked Draymond. I think he got a couple on Steph.
Jimmy,
Um,
he
he got
slotted Jimmy
Jimmy.
into the
Yeah, he
stance.
got Jimmy. I think he got Jimmy. Just being a big body, like just having a big body in the paint, just makes such a huge difference for the team. And then Şengün's rotations on defense.
Ooh.
That from that stretch where they only scored 1 point, um, that was some of the best defense I've ever seen him play as a player. And the rotations, he was coming off and just running around because he didn't have a good game. I know the stats look like it, like to me. I think defensively he's a solid defender now. Like when I'm talking about his good game, I assume he's going to give you good defense. Like I don't even doubt that. But offensively, I think he was scared of Draymond. He looked timid. I could tell when he's not really in it, when he's trying to set a bunch of ball screens off ball, and he's getting out the action, and he's in the regular season he's clapping for the ball and give me the ball, give me, like,
Yep.
in the game he'll just go to the corner. So I could tell, okay, he's like hesitant. But defensively, that fourth quarter was just beautiful. Then you pair that with him and Adams tag teaming off of each other, and then Fred. That's all we need, bro. And it does with Jaylen, and we did this with Jaylen not even contributing really damn near anything,
At all.
except some good defense in the second half. But um, man, I don't know. It's the team is right there. I want to give in to this hopeful, just like we were gonna beat them on, but I don't know, man. I'm 50-50. I'm torn on the game, but this game really did show me a different level of maturity, and like you said, Ime really does deserve his flowers to get these dudes this young to go on in hostile environments, in environments where we've seen previous Rockets team fold before. We've seen veteran teams. If this was a James Harden team, I don't know, he might have folded, bro, under the pressure. And they were
And
just, maybe it's one of those deals where, you're too young and dumb to really understand the gravity of the moment type deals, where they're just young and don't care. So they're not like thinking about it, their legacy and all. They're just like, I'm just trying to hoop. So, but I love this team. That's all I'm going to say. I love this team. This is probably
and
my
so
favorite
the
rock.
callback to Harden is interesting because obviously they chose to sign Fred VanVleet specifically over James Harden. And James Harden just had a great game six for the
He
Clippers.
did. Shout out to
He,
you.
had a, he had a terrible vintage Harden playoff game five. But the difference is for me, obviously Harden does more things. Um, he's a better player than Van Vliet. There's no question about that. But for what
Facts.
this team needs from each of those players, like Fred, I think Fred has been clutch. Like when's the last time you just remember a Rocket being this clutch? I mean, every time Golden State tried to hit the Rockets, Fred had an answer, right? And he was just fearless, dribble up, like boom, boom. Like I mean, it was without him,
Unconscious.
he's arguably been the Rockets' best player, arguably. Probably
Yeah.
Şengün, but those are the big two, right? In the regular season, once Jaylen took over, it was Şengün, Jaylen, and Amen like as the big three. Amen has taken has taken a step back as like an offensive force. He still made some really good plays. Jaylen, I thought, had a really bad game. He's just been bad this series, period, other than game two. Um, and so those two are out of the fold as like the star players, big three. And it's been Şengün and Van Vliet. And then tonight, Steven Adams with 17 points. Also, the bench, Jabari Smith, 3 of 4. Tari Eason, 3 of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Adams, 4 of 4. Aaron Holiday hit a three, 1 of 2. So just very efficient off the bench. And I think they got 16, 30, they got 36 points off the bench from guys who actually like played minutes, not from third stringers, which is huge. Dylan Brooks only played 19 minutes, and he got his fourth foul, but Ime didn't go back to him. Like I don't think we've seen Dylan Brooks straight benched, especially in a do or die game six. And the Rockets, played really well. Dylan Brooks was only a +1 on the floor. If you look at all the other starters and everyone else, they were much better in terms of the plus minus. And look, Alp, yeah, he's been timid offensively. You can tell that little short game that they
Yeah,
were forcing him into has thrown him off, and he really hasn't found his touch like that. But credit to him, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, so he hit his free throws, and he had some big rebounds. He dominated the glass on
he
both ends of
did.
the floor. Hit some two big offensive rebounds on Steven Adams' free throw misses. One of them for a putback, the other one he got fouled and made both free throws, right? So it really went a long way to extending the hack at Adams because Steven Adams, shout out to him, 9 of 16 from the free throw line, 56%, better than his season average. But in those moments where he missed to end the possession, Shingun grabbed two of those
Yep,
misses, turned it into 4 points on each
4 points.
possession, 2 points on each
What do
possession.
you think of the changeup by Ime to keep Steven Adams in? Because I felt
Deserved.
like I hate when coaches adjust to what the other like you just I'm just stubborn like that. Like it's gonna have to. I just let it ride out. So what do you think about him
Well,
having
when he did it the
keeping?
first time, and real quick on Shingun, let me just wrap up the point. He didn't have it going offensively, but he contributed in a ton of other ways. Defensively, on the boards, playmaking, 6 assists, 3 steals, right? And that's what you want to see. And so for Jaylen to struggle, you want to see Jaylen contribute in other ways. I thought he was pretty good on defense, not really good elsewhere. To answer your question, I hated that he gave into it and benched Adams in game 5 or 4, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was
Um,
both.
I think yeah, and then that was a mistake. Like my philosophy is give him a chance, right? If he goes 0 for 4 or whatever on 2 different possessions, like okay, adjust. But if he hits those, now that team is like mentally just out of it because they've resorted to hacking and that shit ain't working, and now they don't know what to do, right? But I give him credit for sticking with it. Steven Adams played 31 minutes, a season high.
Yep.
I think he played the whole fourth quarter. I can't remember. It felt like he did. So I give Ime credit, man. You got to give Ime credit. Like the things that the mistakes he made, it takes guts and accountability to be like, yo, fuck it, we're gonna change it up, and he did, and it worked.
Yeah, I think I would give him credit because even the way they're guarding Steph is different than I've
Yep.
seen him guard Steph before. Even off ball, like I don't know if people understand how elite the Rockets defense is. Being able to we've cracked the Warriors off ball actions. Like there's all the little slip screens they do, the split cuts they do, the split screens they do off ball that usually trick you because you're so most I would say 90% of the time shut that down. And I think what I noticed in the last game, they abandoned the Steph and Dre pick and roll because Steph was getting trapped all the time. So now, if you notice, they're trying to get him free off ball to hunt mismatches by
Yep.
doing off ball screens to get him on an ideal matchup. And we're still, I mean, forcing a bunch of tough shots. He's rushing a lot of his threes, and I don't know how many points he had, like 30 or whatever he had today, 20.
He had 29 points on 9 of 23 from the field, 6 of 16 from three.
Yeah, I'll live with that. I mean,
Yeah.
and then
And
that's go ahead.
he only had 2 assists, which shows you they're bottling him up and also
Yep.
doing a good job of containing him
On the
off the
backside.
ball.
Yeah,
2 assists, 5 turnovers.
and it's just it's really hard to put this into words because this level of play, the level of intensity, the IQ, the chess matches that go on between the Warriors and the Rockets on the like trying to guard their actions against a veteran team that has an identity and a philosophy, and having a team as young as ours with 3 of our starters being 22, 22, and 23 years old out there doing this is so impressive. It really does speak to how talented. But to me, talent. I hear everybody say that we have a better team. Like I get that, but I don't. But they'll say, well, the Warriors are just more experienced and they have more IQ. That does to me. That means they're better.
Yeah.
This is not a matchup we're supposed to win. You can't just because you have high draft picks and you're quote unquote talented doesn't mean you're a better basketball team. I think the Rockets are right now finding out what their identity is in the midst of the fire. Like, and that's really beautiful to see because you can see the progression from these guys from game to game, from quarter to quarter, and definitely in the halves. This is something that I'm going to give Ime credit for because this is one of my biggest criticisms of him. He is so reluctant to switch things up. I've seen some major adjustments, not only in schematics for the players, but just their enthusiasm and the approach to the game from first halves to second halves. They might come out flat in the half, but whatever he says, whatever he does, I don't know what he says to them, but he has a certain button, or the players, they really must respect him, because he seems to like get them burnt, like to be on fire when they come out every game, no matter what it is. If there's something wrong, they're gonna fix it schematically, and then from just playing with more passion, they just do that. And I think that after, if we make it out this series, I really don't see any reason why the Rockets can't make it to the conference finals,
I
because I feel
agree.
like this is the hardest test that they're going to face en route to that.
I agree. And by the way, I'm in Colorado right now, which is why you see
Okay,
this
shout out
setup being really
Colorado.
light. So, and I'm using my computer mic, so I don't know what the audio sounds like to the listeners. Forgot to put that out there. So look, Steph was 6 of 16 from three. The rest of the Warriors, the non-Steph Warriors, were 9 of 33 from three. Now, Draymond was 1 of 4. Jimmy Butler was 1 of 6. Some of those were Jimmy Butler just like jacking threes up at the end when they were down 15. So Draymond and Jimmy Butler combined 2 of 10. If you take them out of the equation and you just focus on like the Warriors role players, right? Like the actual role players, they were 7 of 23 from three, less than 33%, right? And so that's why they won. You saw they were trapping Steph and forcing him to give up the ball and then rotating over. And sometimes it resulted in wide open threes for Buddy Hield, who was 0 of 4, surprisingly. Sometimes it was a wide open three for Podzemski, who was 2 of 6. Moses Moody has been the one role player that has hit his
Mhm.
goddamn threes, and it's been very annoying. He was 5 of 13 overall from the field, and he's the only Warrior other than Jimmy Butler and Steph to score double digits. He had 13 points, but 13 points on 13 shots for Moses Moody is fine. The 3 of 5 from three does hurt. But the point is, the Rockets' game plan has been bottling Steph up. And then they go when they go big with Adams, it gives them rim protection. So when the cutters do go back door, if Adams is there, when they pump fake off the three and get to the middle, Adams was a deterrent tonight. I think he had
Yep.
3 blocks, right? And so
Yep.
that is like the backbone of what is helping them, um, you know, dedicate extra resources to Steph and then rotate over and live with those rotations. And yeah, to your point, man, I mean, other than game one when they were down by 20, whatever, and then they came back, but other than that, they have been in every second of every game and through six. Like even through the moments where you just feel that Warriors avalanche coming, even when it has happened, the Rockets have like just traded barbs with them or survived it enough to stay in the game, even in the games that they lost, right? So it's crazy impressive. And tonight was a game, by the way, where the Warriors out rebounded the Rockets in terms of offensive rebounds. The Warriors had 13, we had 11. So like the Rockets have been winning that. That's been a big key for the Rockets. But the Warriors actually, you know, beat the Rockets in that department tonight. But 28 fast break points for the Warriors is a little concerning, can't lie.
Mhm.
But they had 17 turnovers and they gave up 22 points off turnovers. We had 13 and gave up 12. So, like, I think that kind of helps win the battle. But yeah, I mean, Dylan Brooks playing 19 minutes, I think, is a big storyline because we have not seen Ime go away from him. But I think what we've all been wanting is like, yo, just go harder on the double big. Like the
Yeah.
Steven Adams lineups have won the series. Series is on the line. You got to sell out on it. So hopefully Steven Adams still has enough stamina. Oh, and a big point. Since the series has gone to one game every 2 days, I feel like that's benefited the Rockets. I feel like the Rockets have had more energy, more juice, and the physicality and the aggression has like started to wear down on the Warriors, and it probably gives Steph one less day to rest his thumb and to ice his thumb. So game seven, yo. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I do want to shout out Jabari Smith. I think that he hit some big 3 pointers. There's a confidence in him that I see in these games that I see also in the Men Thompson. Now, obviously it's a different role to be in than what Jalen and Shangun are asked to do, and I keep telling people that. That's why, like, with all this national media people trying to tell us who the best players on the Rockets, like, one, we don't care about that, but two, you cannot compare a role player to a player that's expected to create. And to me, that's like a basketball fallacy. Like, you can't compare Cam Whitmore to Jalen Green, like stuff like that. Like, Jalen is expected to go out there and have to read defenses, which he's struggling at, and just have to do stuff that a ball handler would have to do compared to a guy that's okay, go catch and shoot and attack closeouts. So, but Jabari, when he is functioning in his role, which is a catch and shoot spacer, a guy that can attack closeouts and get to his spot in that mid range. And when he's functioning within that role, he has been so important for the Rockets in this series in hitting just timely buckets. There are times where he overextends himself. Is when he tries to put the ball on on the court and tries to dribble. That we never should see. Anytime he ball handles outside of a closeout, it's probably going to be a turnover, like
which he had,
99%.
which he did tonight.
Yes,
Unfortunately,
like every time I see him dribble, like I'm like, bro, he's about to turn it over. So
yeah.
they need to cut, like if he can trim that off, I would. Everybody's asking for him to get more plays. I agree. Like he needs more shots, but to me, his shots will come off of the initial action that's being generated, and he can be the outlet valve for it. Um, and so I'd like to see him get more minutes. The triple big lineup with Jabari in there is even better than just Şengün and Adams alone. So there's a dynamic there, and I think it's just his shooting. You can't just camp in the paint like you do with Amen Thompson with Jabari out there. So I think he was time. I think Tari hit some big threes in the first half, made some big shots. It's just an all around game, and you can kind of try. You can squint and see. To me, if you take out Jaylen where he's at right there and plug in, like, I'm just throwing out players' names that I'm not talking about trades, but like Donovan Mitchell, and think of how much more elite the Rockets team with the cast of characters they have. That's why
That's a
it's
championship team,
that. Yeah,
contending team.
basically, yeah, you would make a
Yeah,
run. You would
yeah,
make a run. You have the defense already.
yeah.
You have the defense. Even somebody like Fox, you put
Mm,
Fox in that role. I know y'all don't like Fox, but
no,
but
he's
Fox
good.
will get you.
He's good. I just so let me look. Jaylen Green outside of game two, and I just did some math in my head, so it might be a little bit off, but I'm usually pretty decent at math in my head. But he's averaging roughly 11 points a game and change, 30% from the field. I think he's 16 of 53. This is games 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not game two where he went 4 of 24 from three, which is like 16, 17%. I think like 2.5 assists, about 2 turnovers a game. That is rough. And that's 53 shots, 5 games. What is that? 10, almost 11 shots a game. So he's not even shooting that much. And I mean, I guess tonight he got to the free throw line. So he's really not getting to the free throw line that much either, right? So 11, 14, 16, like 3 attempts per game in those 5 games. So he has been a complete non factor. And I don't want to harp on it because it's 3-3. Like, I'll let him live for now. But I do think at some point, like, Aaron Holiday out there hitting some threes, just
Yeah.
stretching a defense. I know. I'm not saying
That's
Aaron
one of
Holiday's
them
not good.
Hitler versus Stalin memes for me, bro. Like,
But either
no,
way,
not that bad.
right. Either
At
way,
this
the
point,
point is, I mean, 11 points a game on like what would probably be, I didn't do the numbers, but I'm going to
yeah,
probably
yeah.
42% TS or some crazy shit like that without anything else other than like defense every now and then. It's tough. It is really tough. But despite all that, the Rockets are going to game seven. Fred VanVleet, 29, 8, and 8, by the way. So, like, that's some Harden type stuff. On
That
7 of
is
13, he had 29 points on 13
8
shots,
rebounds, 13
8
shots.
assists,
Yeah, it's crazy.
2 turnovers, 9 of 9 from the free throw line,
Yeah.
made his free throws. I mean, look, can't say enough about him, honestly. Like, 29, 8, and 8 in a closeout game on the road at Golden State. You know what I mean?
He earned his money. Fred earned his money. I think, well, the last thing I'll say about the Jalen thing is I said in my previous
I
video.
have one more thing to say, though,
Okay,
when you're
okay.
done.
I'll say I'm not. I don't like. I said on the last part I made that the playoffs. I'm not a big efficiency guy in the playoffs. Like I like to watch the games. I can feel. I can feel like the momentum of the game. There's some games where a guy dominates and they're like, they shoot third. Like yeah, it has the playoffs, bro. Go look at the
Like,
stats.
like Ant last night, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
He was like
just
5 of
and
19 or
so
something. But
you think about Ant last night and his aggression going downhill and attacking mismatches, even though he was missing everything. The fact that the Wolves were able to rebound so much off of that because it kept the Lakers were in scramble mode just by functioning in his role as a guard, a scoring guard, and being aggressive. My biggest disappointment is not Jalen's efficiency; is the fact that he only took 11 shots. And if you look at his field goal attempts, throughout the series, except the game where he went off, they've been low, and he's become the reason you have him out there instead of Aaron Holiday is that Jaylen Green is he's a in theory he's a rim pressure guy, a guy that is athletic and can get feed in the paint and generate offense based off of that attacking the rim. Um, if he's not efficient, okay, that's cool. We can live with that. You're playing good defense, you're rebounding. If you're not getting to the rim and you're not really doing anything else out there, bro, it just becomes like it's like, okay, what are we doing? And I think that's my thing. I said he needs to empty the clip. He got a full magazine, bro. He ain't shot one gun yet. Like,
So
so
check.
what's
Sorry,
up?
I was going to give you some numbers to back that up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Let me hear those.
So he shot in game two. He shot 25 field goals. He shot 18 threes. This is game two on its own.
Right.
In all other 5 games combined, he shot 24 threes. So he shot 18 in game two, and he shot 24 in all other
Combined.
5 games combined. And then in game two, he shot 25 shots. In all other 5 games combined total, he's taken 53 shots, damn near half in one
So
game.
in 5 games, he's taking about 10 shots
3.6
a game.
shots a game. Yeah. He's
That's
taking, he in the regular season, he shot 17 and a half times per game. And in those other 5 games, other than game two, he shot 10.6 times per game. So that's seven
yeah.
times less per game. But I do want to point out, to your point, right? Like when the shot, I'm with you. It's the playoffs. I don't care about your efficiency. I care about winning the game and what you do to win the game, right? And those are two separate things. They don't have to necessarily cross paths, right? Kobe wasn't efficient at times. Mike wasn't efficient at times. Doesn't matter because you're drawing attention from the defense and then you can manipulate the defense from there, or the attention you draw opens up other things like rebounds and putbacks or open shots or whatever. The issue I have is that Jaylen is not taking the attention that he's drawing
And
and doing
capitalizing.
something with it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Fred was getting trapped at half court repeatedly, and he was slithering around and beating it. Shout out to him, he was finishing in the paint, or he was finding open guys, right? He put on a clinic. Go back and watch the game. He put on a clinic of how you take attention and you flip it. To your point, to
Yeah.
your phrasing, you use it to warp the defense, right? And that's what Jalen's not doing.
I think it might have been Doris Burke. She pointed that out, or yeah, I think it was her. Either her or Jefferson was saying that how Fred was inviting the traps as compared to where Jaylen was not. We've seen this with James Harden, the unguardable tour, where he was getting half court unscreened. They were just trapping him half court for no reason, and they got to the point where they started using different people in the middle of the court, expecting the trap, and he was just invited, do the little skip pass, and they run 4-on-3.
Yep.
That's I always say this: if you're a ball handler, and especially if you're going to be a guy that you're going to have to play make and create for your team, you have to process like a machine.
Yep.
You have to be robotic about the game of basketball. You can't get greedy. You can't try to do too much. If they're going to force you and trap you, the defense is actually telling you something. They're telling you that, hey, we are giving up an extra defender to concede to you because we're basically weakening ourselves to stop this action. And if you don't actually play off of that, then you're letting them off the hook every time. Every time that you try to, dribble and beat your guy off the dribble in a trap and turn it over, or it's like a bad shot, the defense is basically you're just giving them free stuff. So, I think that for him, for JG this summer, I don't know what it is. There's so many things he needs to work on. I think the number one thing for me is for him to really work on his ability to read the game. And I'm not sure, to me, that progression takes years. You can't just lock in the summer and become some savant at playing basketball. So it's going to be interesting. That's really going to be interesting. Going on to games 7, right? So we know it's going to be crazy. Um, my feeling on this game, like from what I saw from what the Warriors were trying to do, I feel like they'll probably get back to old reliable and get into more pick and roll action, and then try to come up with ways to free up Steph on the second go round of their actions. Whereas once you trap them, they get Dre rolling and then try to rescreen off of that. I've seen them do that before. Teams that try to play, because we're not the first team that's played them like this, but we're physical with it and we're doing good on the off ball actions. But I feel like they've abandoned what they do well. I'm not sure why they've gone away from those pick and rolls. But to me, they've been making some tactical mistakes throughout this series. To the one where they took Draymond off of Şengün, to me that cost them a game, and they lost that. The last 2 games, they've gone away from their heavy pick and roll with Dre and Steph. I think that's impacting their offense because it's forcing them to play in late in the shot clock in isolation. So I'm not sure how they approach it, but I that's if I was them, I would attack that on the Rocket side. To me, we've pretty much seen everything they can do. I love the feeling that we're going into this game without any surprises. It's not like there's nothing at this point in game 7 that you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm scared. They're going to hunt this guy. They're going to put Shangun and pick him. Like, we don't care. Like, we could guard anything they have. It just comes down to nutting up and just balling, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, look, I tweeted, bro, they walked in. It takes big balls to walk into Golden State facing elimination and just dog walk them the way they did. I mean, that takes something serious that we've seen previous Rocket teams not necessarily have. In terms of the rotation, by the way, if you remember one of our previous episodes for this series, I said that the refs had a Jimmy Butler free throw game in their back pocket. Tonight was that game. He shot 14 free throws. He got any call he wanted. I thought it was frankly pretty ridiculous. He was 12 of 14 from the line, and the Rockets withstood it. So that is very good news. And a big thing about tonight as well is that Quentin Post was not a factor.
Oh,
Quentin Post,
yes.
he only played 18 minutes. He had 5 fouls. You're also seeing Steve Kerr really slim his rotations down. He's
Yep.
only playing like 3 guys off the bench, serious minutes. He only played 3 guys off he had an 8-man rotation until he waved the white flag with 2 minutes left in the game. And usually he at least mixes somebody in there. So like Steve Kerr's not playing any games. The Warriors are not playing any games.
They changed their starting lineup, which was very odd to me this late in the
Yes.
series.
So and I was going to say I I think in Game 7 they put Podziemski back in the starting lineup, and I would not be surprised if they also put Moses Moody back in the starting lineup. Moses Moody has been a dead-eye three-point shooter in this series. I don't know what the percentages are, but it feels like every time he shoots a three in this series, it goes in. Let me look at it. Moses Moody, 39% from three in the series. Yeah. So I think they'll go Podziemski back in the starting lineup and maybe Moses Moody as well. GP2 was also a non-factor tonight.
Yep.
And Buddy Hield was a non-factor. Like their role players were non-factors, right? It was another Steph and Jimmy Butler game. And the Rockets were able to beat them over the head with it. And the Rockets had the lead from pretty much the second quarter and on.
Yeah,
Maybe even
pretty
after
much the
one.
halftime. Yep.
Yeah, like I don't even know. Let me see. The Rockets had the lead. I don't know when they got the lead for good,
It
but
was
they
towards
led
the end of the second quarter, I think, and
they led after the first quarter, and I don't think they ever
yeah,
gave it
they
up after
tied
that.
it up and got up one like 47-46 at some point or something like that. And then from there on,
No,
we
no, when they tied it up, 40 it was 46-46, and then we went up 51,
oh,
53,
okay, yeah.
46.
Then it just from there on, it was like playing keep away with them, and
Yeah, yeah.
never really. And I agree with Richard Jefferson. I think we needed like a 10-point cushion because if it was a close game, it comes down to late game execution. Um, the game 7 of itself, I'm thinking. So there's a two-way street here. There's two things. Obviously, the role players for the Warriors are going to be super tight and intense. This is going to be a if y'all have been watching basketball, y'all know game 7s are just crazy because it's literally everybody's is on the line, both teams. Um, the fact that we have home court advantage, it could not be more clutch at this moment right now. This
Yep,
is why the regular season matters.
yep,
And they push for it, and it's going to come in super handy because I know Toyota's going to be rocking.
yep.
But to me, it's gonna the both role players on the home team and on the road team are going to be probably neutralized by just the gravity of it. I promise you, it'll come down to the guys, the Jimmies and Joes, whatever that phrase is. Like it's going to come down to guys. Who's going to make a play? Who's going to make a play? And who's going to be the one to try to backpack and carry the team on? And I'm really excited to see who steps up for the Rockets. I think Shangun is due for another big game because to me the shots he wants are there. It's just, I mean, Draymond's fouling him. I still think damn near every time he
Fouling the
posts him up,
shit out of them. Yeah,
like just mugging him, and it's ridiculous at this
yep,
point. But regardless of that, to me the shots are there because that he lives in that mid range during the regular season. Those little floaters and shot put shots where he was shooting north of 50% from there. So and then I think they need to get him downhill. They just need to trim everything down to the bare necessities and just play smart basketball and try to get on defense, turn them over, run in transition, get a men involved, just play the right way. If they do that, they can beat this team. I am more optimistic now than I've ever been about the Rockets' chances of winning this series. I had said if it went to a game 7, I'd give it to the Warriors. But after winning this game 6, I'm going to say that I feel like the Rockets, the only way they lose is if they just crash out and like they just go just do some just something out of character for them to lose because like I said, from a schematic standpoint, from just a pure basketball standpoint, I haven't seen anything that the Warriors could do differently. Could be like, we're going to exploit this. They've laid all their cards out. And at this point, it's just like, is Steph going to go supernova and drop
Yeah,
50 like he did against Sacramento 2 years ago in game 7 or something
he
crazy
might.
like that?
I mean, look, there's a number of ways it could shake out, but I agree with you. I'm more confident in this team than I've been maybe at any point ever. Big question is, can Steven Adams hold up again on short rest, right? Only 1 day of rest,
Yes.
played a season high of minutes. Is Steven Adams going to have that in the tank? Because if he doesn't, it's going to be difficult. If he does and he can maintain a high level of performance and intensity and all that, Rockets have a chance. Is Steph going to go supernova? Are the referees going to make this a ref show? Right? Game 7, Warriors. I mean, maybe I have PTSD, but I can't help but wonder if that's going to be the case. One thing the Rockets have been doing really well over the last couple games is they seem to be, this is just my eye test, but they seem to be maintaining discipline on closeouts. They were, for most of the series, they've been jumping and just pump fake,
Yeah.
reset, rhythm shot for the Warriors. Last couple games, it seems like they are keeping their feet and they're not jumping. They're contesting, and then when the Warriors pump fake and try to reset, there's a defender right there, right? Because he kept his ground. So I think that's been very helpful. And then with Şengün, man, these little push shots. If I'm Ime, I'd be like, yo, take the dribble and explode and finish. 2
Yes.
hands, dunk. Force the foul, force the contact. Like, don't just like softly float it. You can start out floating it. You can start out floating it, and if you're hitting it, okay, fine. But if it's not there, aggressive, right? Force the contact. Force Draymond to foul you at the basket, at the rim. You're bigger than him, right? They don't have a traditional rim protector. There's a good chance they're going to make contact, and you're going to force the call. But I think it's going to come down to the role players. I mean, do the Warriors role players step up, right? Are they hitting threes? It really comes down to if those guys are hitting threes, because that's the Rockets' game plan. Bottle Steph up, make things difficult for him, try to be cognizant and aware of the backdoor cuts, and then somebody's going to be on an island on the opposite side of the ball, on the weak side of the ball, with a shooter on the elbow and a shooter in the corner. And you've got 2 guys until somebody rotates back and helps you, right? And so when that ball skips over, number one, are you able to maintain or able to contain 2 guys at once and like until you get help on the backside? Number 2, if you can't, do they make the 3? Because if they're off, okay, you win the possession. If not, that's where things get difficult again for the Rockets. And then offensively, who steps up? Does Jaylen step up? Does Amen step up? Can Fred keep this going? I mean, I don't think he can,
Me
honestly. Like,
either. I don't
you know what I'm
want to
saying?
rely
Like,
on Fred.
right? Like Fred,
Yeah.
we've relied on Fred. Fred has carried us over the last 3 games, even the one we lost, game 4,
Yeah.
where we had the lead. Like Fred hit huge 3 after huge 3, and the Rockets really could have won that game. Does Fred have another one of those in the tank? Because like he's given his all 3 games out of 6. If he's got another one, then God bless his soul. But if he doesn't, who steps up, right? Is Dylan Brooks going to hit shots? Does Amen force the issue? Another thing that I noticed over the last 2 games, the Rockets seem to be targeting Steph intentionally. And we talked about
Yes.
this before the series, and they just never really seem to do it. But they're posting Dylan up on Steph. I think
Yeah.
one of the first plays of the game, they had Amen in the paint on Steph.
Yeah.
Şengün fed him the pass. They drew the foul, right? And he had 4 fouls, which obviously helps, right? So they seem to finally be like embracing the idea of targeting Steph, which helps as well. But I agree with you, man. There's nothing they can do we haven't seen. In the spirit of basketball, it's going to come down to who hits shots. I mean,
Basically.
point blank, right? So,
Basically.
and then, yeah, can Tari and Jabari keep doing what they're doing, right? Tari's done some dumb shit in this series. He's done
Yeah.
some dumb
That foul
shit,
was
you
nasty
know?
work. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it could go either way, but I think a lot of it hinges, funny enough, on Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet.
That is crazy. I think like relying on Fred is like just driving on an empty tank and just praying that you make it home.
You're like
It's
looking
like,
at the
damn, the
miles
light is
counter, like,
on. I'm
yeah,
almost home. It's like 2 miles away. I'm just your car's kicking a little bit, but So I don't. I'm not gonna. I think one of the 2021 draft class kids that got to step up. We
have
need a
to.
big game. Like one of y'all got to be. Y'all gotta. Shango's been good, but he needs to like step into the light and like really take this. This is where legends are made, bro. Like there's no more theoretical basketball here. That's why we're deading all the defensive narratives for him. Jaylen is showing a lot of stuff to people. So if you're a Jaylen Green person that doesn't think he's all that, hey, you got empirical evidence to support that. You know what I mean? So you get to see the playoffs is just real. Like it is what it is. Like you can't, so well, this has happened. This player, it's here. So now we're starting to see what this team actually has. And for me, one of those guys, because we've been really for the whole of the regular season, we've been kind of built and been running through that because I fear that if when Jaylen doesn't step up and if Şengün is struggling, the role players start feeling like they have to do too much, and then you
Yeah.
start having to rely on Fred. I love an efficient Fred that doesn't feel like he has to be the best player on the team. But on a night where you need in the playoffs, like that's the guy that you want. I think Fred is very much underrated for what he does for our team. Like a lot of people question the contract. I never question the contract. I question like his future role. But as far as the money the Rockets gave him to do what he did with the culture of the Rockets to get us to this point, he's already earned his money.
Yeah.
He's earned his money by what we're seeing right now. This is Fred Van Vliet's. This is the pinnacle of his work, along with Ime Udoka and along with Dylan Brooks. They all had a hand in getting this team here from where we were before. So for him, it is just it's kind of almost poetic that he's the one that's able to do this at this point after having such a bad year. But I'm I love seeing it. Steven Adams too, a guy that just I was very skeptical of the hiring because of his injury, and he's gotten healthy over the season and is producing at a crazy scale. It's just been a lot, and it's the vets have really stepped in to really kind of steady the ship for our guys as they're kind of going through the shocks of playing in the playoffs. And I think the game to game progressions. First game on the road, we looked lost. Then they come back out. Okay, we can see. Even the first home game looked lost. Come back out, take care of business. So now it's game 7. It's a new game. We're gonna see what happens, bro. But I think the Rockets are winning. I got them
I'm
winning.
gonna pick the Rockets to win it, man. Look, on the point of Fred VanVleet, I just can't emphasize this enough because he really deserves so much credit. Last 3 games, 27 points a game, 5 assists a game, 4 rebounds a game. He has shot 59% from the field on 13 shots a game, 23 of 39 overall, 67% from three on 9 attempts per game. 16, sorry, hold on, 12, 18 out of 27. 18 to 27 from three in the last 3 games. So he's shooting 59% from the field, 67% from three, 100% from the free throw line, five free throw attempts per game over the three, 27, 5, and 4. I mean, god
That's
damn.
crazy.
Wow.
That is
So
nuts.
yeah, so like wow. But yeah, I agree with you, man. It is, it's interesting that, Fred VanVleet, bro, Steven Adams, I tweeted this. The fact that Steven Adams in a double big lineup is like the series altering X factor
Yep.
against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I just want Rockets fans to take that for a second, Şengün and Adams, and just understand how many times you saw different conversations, different discourse, all centered around hypotheticals, right? When we talk Jaylen Green discourse, like we're going off what we see. The Şengün stuff was all, and can you play with the big? Can you do defense? Can you play basketball that way? Blah blah blah. All hypothetical. And now we're seeing it, and you saw it in the regular season too. And like, I just hope that more new age fans take this to understand, like, yo, basketball is one of those games where it's not
Yep.
right. It's not just shooting, spacing. Like, there's different ways to get it. And the Rockets are showing you that, like, with the weirdest, clunkiest, slow. Like, who would have if I would have told you Steven Adams and Şengün are out there manning a Steph Curry lineup,
Yeah,
and
I
they,
would. Yeah, I mean, but
bro,
a lot of us came up in the Maury era
yeah,
of Rockets. So I think that whole era really did take away the beauty of basketball and
yeah,
the different variations and just the different styles of this game that a lot of Rockets fans had, and it really became just about very rigid analytics and efficiency and shooting and like you said, bro, we got a 6 foot guard and 2 big men out there with a bunch of young dudes, and and we
bro.
going
Fred
toe to
VanVleet's
toe
like
with a
my height. I don't even
dynasty.
think he's 6 feet. Like,
Yeah,
unbelievable. I
like
remember having so many conversations with Rockets fans in the D'Antoni era where, like, I was in the camp of like, hey, games on the line, like, please stop the drawing drawing the attention and kicking it for the three. 3 points are better than 2 points per possession, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, bro, when you need a bucket, go get
Right.
a bucket. Okay. There's different ways to do that. It doesn't have to be this robotic, mechanical bullshit over and over. And I feel like these Rockets are vindicating that school of thought because none of it makes sense offensively, right? They are just willing the ball into the basket. And even when they can't buy a bucket, they will rebound that thing, kick it back out, and find somebody. That possession where I forgot what happened, but Fred dove on the ground, came up with the loose ball,
Gave it to Jabari, right? Was it
gave it
Jabari
to
that hit a
Jabari in the
three?
corner,
Yeah.
right? Like, bro, that embodies this team, and it
Yeah.
says so much about Fred VanVleet. Like, that is a dude putting it all on the
He
line. That
dove,
embodies him.
Jabari dove,
Yep.
got up, got to the corner and shot that shot. And just smiled in the midst of just a war, just smiled and just kept it moving. Like, yeah,
It's a
we like
culture
that.
play, man.
It's crazy, man. But I want y'all to let us know in the comments in the chat, who do you got for game 7? Who do you have? Do you got the Rockets winning? This will be a epic Sunday. I'm trying to go to the game, bro. I'm looking at the 400 section. The tickets are $200, bro. And at
Man.
that point, I'd rather sit comfortably in my own couch and watch it on my big screen TV than sit from the roof and see the little ants run around and cheer. So I don't
The
know.
Spider-Man meme where you're like, from like,
So I don't know. I might still go. I might go because to me it's
so
like this once in a lifetime. Game 7 versus this might be the last time we get to see Steph and Dre, and I
yes,
might want to be there to
I
watch
agree
them
with
get
that.
killed.
I agree with that. I'm out of town, so I might have burnt my, not being at home ticket. We'll see, because I get back home on Sunday,
Oh, okay.
and so if I go straight from being out of town right into, hey, I'm gonna be gone tonight too. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. You out of
Um,
there.
right,
You out of
right.
there.
So,
Yeah, yeah. You doing too much.
right. So we'll see. But I'm going Rockets, man. And look, either way, no matter what happens, we talked about it at the beginning of the series, but it sucked when it looked like they were going out, kind of like just rolling over, like down 3-1, 2 seed, just getting punked. And to see them battle back, it's been awesome. And to see them blow them out twice in a row. Like the final score wasn't a blowout, but the Rockets were up 17 with
Yeah,
like 4 minutes left in the game. They've blown the Warriors out in back-to-back games. Both of them facing elimination, one of them in San Francisco. So success.
it is. It is. And we're gonna see by the time we follow up with you guys, we are either going to be punching our ticket to face the Minnesota Timberwolves, or we'll start putting together trade packages for key players on the Rockets. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking the Chop Shop. We're going to keep dropping that fire.